ask yourself a question: why some people are really good at what they do and reach consistently great results in comparison to the rest of specialists in their area? Well, I've been absolutely fascinated by this question and spent a lot of time researching it. And what I realized is this: true specialists with special skills and deep knowledge work out the structures, the systems of their trades, and then apply these structures and systems on a consistent basis. This allows them to bring consistently amazing results over and over again. Hello, my dearest friends. My name is Svetlana Shlapak, and I'm a senior immigration solicitor based in London, UK. And I'm also the creator of this free ukvisasuccess.com channel. I won my first immigration case at the tribunal back in 2003, and this gives me over 15 years of experience in UK immigration field. I've created another special video series for you called Deconstructing Immigration Rules, where I've deconstructed over 30 immigration categories for you. I've created this video series with only one aim: to help you understand the structure of immigration rules, because knowing the structure always helps achieve astonishing results. And for those of you who want to see how to apply this structure in practice, you can also check my other video series where I show you how to do exactly that. It is called ukvisasuccess.com frequently asked questions. Okay, let us deconstruct your next immigration category. And yes, my friends, immigration law is a very, very deep area of law. I can only take so much of your time during each video, and as much as I love to, I have to be very succinct and choose the most important parts to explain to you during these videos. If after watching these videos you decide that you would like to know more, please visit ukvisasuccess.com more, as at this page I've provided you with the links to great free in-depth material which will help you on your way to success with your immigration matter. A limited leave to remain as a partner. There are 5 key elements to any successful application. The first one: you need to be in the UK in order to make this application. Secondly, you need to make a valid application. Thirdly, you need to meet all the suitability requirements. Number 4, there are 2 possible routes here. You either show that you meet all the eligibility requirements and you follow the 5-year route, or if you cannot meet all the eligibility requirements, which I will be discussing later in this video, then you will need to produce evidence confirming, really strong evidence confirming that you fall within the paragraph EX1, and I will explain this in this video as well. And if you can prove that paragraph EX1 applies to you, then you will be following the 10-year route. The first key element: you must be in the UK, is a pretty straightforward one. You can only make your limited leave to remain or further leave to remain application when you are in the UK. Secondly, you must have made a valid application. All this means is that you follow the correct procedure when you make your application, and the correct procedure always consists of 5 steps. The first one: you need to complete the correct form, and then the correct form in this type of application is FLRM, further leave to remain marriage. It can either be the online version of the form, or you can choose to submit the paper version of the form. And that is if you follow the 5-year route, that is if you can prove that you meet all the eligibility requirements. If you cannot meet all the eligibility requirements and you can prove that paragraph EX1 applies to your case, then you need to submit another form, which is known as FLRFP form, which is further leave to remain family person form. And in this case, you will be following the 10-year route. With regards to fee, as I've already explained in my previous videos, you have to make sure that you always pay the correct fee, and they do change the fee on very regular basis, and therefore you have to always make sure that you know what this correct fee is, because if you do not pay the correct fee, the application will be refused. Currently, it is £1,033. And they've given you an option to complete a fee waiver request form, Appendix 1, where they allow you to make a request not to pay the fee. But I have to warn you here that the threshold for these types of requests is incredibly high, and therefore if you are not 100% sure that your circumstances as such that would allow the grant of this fee waiver request, then I strongly recommend that you do pay the fee without making this request. Also, you need to pay Biometrics, which is at the moment £19.20. And please do not forget to pay the immigration health surcharge. It always depends on the application, and in one of my videos I've explained how you can check how much you need to pay for the immigration health surcharge. Roughly it is £200 per year, but you need to make sure that you calculate this correctly and you pay the fee, because if you don't, then the application again may be refused. Submitting to the designated post, it's very simple. You just, if it's online form, they will direct you to the correct place. If it is the paper version of the form, there is a address which is stated on the form. Please make sure that you always send your application form and all the documents supporting your application by recorded delivery, just to make sure that you have a proof that it was sent by recorded delivery and it was successfully delivered to the designated post. Together with the supporting documents, I can probably spend another couple of days explaining what documents can be submitted in support of your further leave to remain application as a partner. But the best place to start is to check their form, where there is a separate section, documents and evidence section, where they explain what kind of documents. This is just the beginning guide explaining what kind of documents they will be expecting you to submit together with the application. Enrolling your biometrics, again, it's very simple. They will provide you with very clear instructions as to how you can do it. You have to make sure that you comply with the deadline they've given you. But if you're making your further leave to remain application, chances are that you already submitted your biometrics application before, and therefore you are well aware of the procedure. All I want you to make sure is that you are complying with the deadline. You have to make sure that you are submitting the biometrics information within the specified period of time. The next key element is meeting all the suitability requirements. Suitability requirements are all about being a suitable person to either enter or remain in the UK. And there are two types of suitability requirements: discretionary and mandatory. Mandatory is when the decision maker, if you fall under any of the mandatory suitability requirements, the decision maker has no choice but to refuse your application. I've created a separate video explaining all the suitability requirements. Suitability requirements are generally all about deportation, expulsion, criminal convictions, dishonesty, failure to comply with the Home Office directions, and failure to disclose material facts and similar activities. So there are currently 7 mandatory refusals and 8 discretionary refusals. If you're afraid that your application can fail because of the failure to meet the suitability requirements, please do check one of my videos where I've explained the suitability requirements in more detail. The next one is meeting the eligibility requirements. As I've explained to you before, there are 2 case scenarios here. So you can, if you meet all the eligibility requirements, then you're following the 5-year route. Let me explain what these eligibility requirements are. So the first one is relationship requirements, when you are related to the person the way you state you are. And the second one is immigration requirements. This one is introduced. If you compare this to the entry clearance application, this is a new one, immigration status requirements. And basically what this immigration status requirement is about is that you are not allowed to make this type of application if you are here in the UK as a visitor, or if your leave to remain is for less than 6 months. Also, you will not be able to apply if you're on immigration bail or in breach of immigration laws, unless, as I've mentioned before, a paragraph EX1 applies. And then, of course, you will need to meet the financial requirements, accommodation requirements, and English language requirement. As you may recall, for entry clearance applications, the English language requirement was a level A1. If you already passed a level A1, they would expect you to make a progression. They will expect you to now submit the application at the level A2. And therefore, it's always advisable for those who are making the application, entry clearance application, it's always advisable to pass the test at the level A2, so you don't need to retake the test again when you're making your further leave to remain application. But if you cannot meet all the eligibility requirements, then you will need to prove that you meet the relationship requirement, and paragraph EX1 applies. When you are, in this case, you will be taking the tenure route. And let me explain what paragraph EX1 is all about. There are two possible routes where paragraph EX1 applies. The first one is when there is a child involved, and the second one when you can prove that there is genuine and subsisting relationship between you and the partner. The first route, when there is a child is involved, you need to prove that you have genuine and subsisting parental responsibility with the child who is under the age of 18 and who is either a British citizen or someone who is in the UK continuously and he's been living here for at least 7 years preceding immediately to the date of application, and it would be unreasonable to expect the child to leave the UK. The second route is when you have a partner who is a British citizen or who is settled in the UK or who is someone with a refugee status or humanitarian protection. And secondly, there are insurmountable obstacles to family life with the partner continuing outside the UK. And here I give you some examples of what insurmountable obstacle can be. Well, normally this means that there will be very significant difficulties which would be faced by the parties to continue their family life together outside the UK, and which could not be overcome or would entail very serious hardship for the applicant and their partner. And normally when they decide cases like this, they will take the following factors into consideration: ability to lawfully enter and stay in another country, cultural barriers, the impact of mental or physical disability, and the security situation in the country of return. This first route, when there is a child involved, is significantly stronger than the second one because they take really seriously the interest of the children involved when considering any type of application. When the application is granted, you will be given further leave to remain for 30 months with the condition of no recourse to public funds, which means that you will not be allowed to claim any benefits while staying here on this further leave to remain. And this is very important for you to adhere to this condition, immigration condition imposed on your stay, because if you do claim benefits, your indefinite leave to remain application or further leave to remain application is most likely to be refused. And these are all the key steps which you need to take in order to succeed with your further leave to remain application as a partner of a British citizen. And one final thing, if you're a spouse or a partner of a British citizen and you are living abroad and are thinking of joining your spouse in the UK, then you will greatly benefit by checking out my free mind map. This mind map will help you with one crucial thing. It will help you avoid one of the most common mistakes people make when submitting their visa applications to enter the UK as spouses or British citizens or someone who's settled in the UK. This mind map is completely free and you'll find the link in the description.